Hello and welcome to today's live stream on a Monday, which is mad, but we're here for it. That means one thing, right? We're talking leaks today. How exciting. But first things first, you're probably like, who is this? Like, who even is this? Hi, I'm Mod Blossom. I'm community manager here at Old School. I've been here for over a year now, but this is my first time on stream. You might have seen me around on Discord, but first time here. We're not going to do all the usual first mod questions. We maybe we'll do that another time because we have way too much to get into today because we're going to talk about leagues. So I am joined today by Mod Arcane and Mod Halo. How are we both today?
I'm doing very well. I've got my heated blankets on. I've got my cup of tea in a Jagex mug. If you can see that. And I've got my bottle of water. Can you see that? Nice. And I'm ready for an hour of just rambling.
Nice. Halo, how are you?
I'm doing great. And honestly, I just can't wait for Wednesday. It needs to come around way quicker. Honestly, I've booked out like my calendar this weekend. I'm going to play the league. Yeah, super excited.
Nice. Awesome. Well, I'm super excited and I cannot wait to get stuck into everything we have to talk about today. However, as you know, it goes like this. We've got some announcements to do. So get ready with your exclamation marks. First up, we have exclamation mark Leagues 5. Leagues 5 Raging Echoes begins this Wednesday, literally like a couple of days away. We have everything that you need to know, including relic reveals, launch schedule, etc., on the link to that blog post. You can also use exclamation mark promo. For this league, there is a special promotional leagues membership package for new and returning players. It's available between November 26th and December 3rd, and this provides you a subscription access for 57 days at a discounted rate, no matter when you start during that availability window. This is ideal for anyone looking to dive into the high-speed action without a long-term commitment. And we have exclamation mark Discord. On our Discord server, all three leagues, we're going to be running various activities that you can get involved in. We also have a leaderboard that's going to be going on there as well, so make sure you join up and get involved. You can also do exclamation mark Leagues Discord, and this is taking you to the community run Leagues Discord where you can chat with other RuneScape players all about your league's journey. And finally, we have exclamation mark YouTube. At the end of this stream, we're going to be dropping a Leagues 5 video by Solo Mission on our YouTube channel. So go and subscribe now so you can stay in the loop and see it as soon as it drops. However, we'll point you over there when we come to the end of the stream anyway, don't worry. Okay, that is the announcements done. So, first of all, we know it's going live on Wednesday, and hopefully if you've seen on our blog post, you'll have seen we've been sharing a time zone image. So we're going to be going live at 12 p.m. GMT, so it'll be a little bit later than our game update goes. So you'll see normal worlds going up at 11, and then Leagues worlds start at 12. And then hopefully we can show on screen, have we got the our time zone chart there, so you can see some other time zones. They're not all there. We might have to Google. It would be a very big picture if we had to put all of them. Okay, so over the last 2 weeks, to make the wait more bearable, we've dropped a surprise reveal about the league every single day. If you stay tuned, we're going to be dropping that final one today on stream, so make sure you stay with us right until the end. But for now, let's have a chat through what we've seen so far. So, reveal 1, day 1. We started off strong with our tier 1 relics. We've got Power Miner, Lumberjack, and Animal Wrangler. Arcane, Halo, do you want to talk us a little bit through these and what you were thinking around them?
Yeah, before we start, can people hear me okay? I know people keep thinking that I'm using this microphone. I'm not using this microphone. I'm just using the headphones. It's a bit of a bait, I know. It happens almost every day at work, but hopefully you can hear me now. Okay, yeah, everyone seems to think it's fine now.
Nice.
Fantastic. So I'm picking Animal Wrangler. And the primary reason for that is that I want to AFK at work immediately, and no other reason. I actually think Power Miners are a lot stronger for like a lot more use cases, just because mining and smithing is like so weak. But I just I need that AFK time immediately in reality. Don't know what you're picking, Halo.
I'm undecided currently. It's either Animal Wrangler or Power Miner. I hate to see Lumberjack in the dirt, but it is what it is. No, I'm only joking. But it's interesting because we're kind of trying something new with these starter relics that we haven't really done before. If you can believe, in like an early iteration of this league, the starter tiers look really similar to Trailblazer Reloaded, and we were like, oh, the start of the game it feels the same as Reloaded. It's not good. So we decided to go this sort of route, which kind of changes up the early routing quite a bit, which we thought was quite interesting. So we'll see how that sort of pans out on Wednesday, but it's got some really cool conversation going between the community as well. Like, oh, I'm a power miner, oh, you're a lumberjacker, or whatever, It's always good to see that sort of back and forth. My relic's better than yours, which is quite nice to see. But yeah.
Jackers represent. But yeah, I think it is quite an interesting one with because I really liked Infernal Gathering. Like I picked Infernal Gathering last week and Trailblazer Reloaded, and it was so fun to use. It's so satisfying, like really just demolishing like every spot, like going really, really quickly, incredibly high like success rates and everything, and then just automatically smithing. Like I remember smithing a bunch of Addy bars, and if you were trying to do that without Infernal Gathering, it's kind of miserable. So like it kind of giving a softer version for everyone in like different styles, as well as like the auto banking and everything else, is actually really powerful. That plus 50% success rate is actually quite interesting as well from the point of view of, I think we're actually going to see people mine Runite rocks this league for the first time ever for like actual XP. Like who's ever actually seen that been done?
Yeah, even like magic trees, right, with Lumberjack, like that's so much XP.
Yeah. All right, should we go to the next one?
Awesome. Yes, perfect. If anyone's wondering, this is going to be my first leagues actually playing, and I am undecided on all of these. So I'm very tempted to just ask like Discord or Twitter or something to just like pick my picks for me and just like ruin my whole experience. But it's fine. Okay, so next up we had Golden God Relic reveal. This is all about enhancing the power of your alchemy spells.
This one's one of my favorite relics. Like, I think it's so cool. Like, there's just been such I feel like everyone's gone through that period of playing a new account and wanting to get, like, the Homer Simpson, like, duck things, like, automatically click so you can get your auto out going. And then, obviously, people maybe end up botting or whatever to really get through that. It's, like, one of those things that everyone's kind of wanted to automate at one point in time. And then actually having a relic just do that with a bunch of other buffs on top. Very, very fun relic. I'm definitely picking this one as well, just to power through the early game.
Yeah, I personally can't wait to see like a full raid of people and they're just all using the Alk animation, just running around Ulm or something, like 50 people. Yeah, it's super cool. This relic has actually changed quite a bit since we first thought of it as well. Like it wasn't in the same tier before and it had something else before. But we finally landed on something that I think is really cool.
Oh, that's mysterious.
Yeah, mysterious.
We'll never know. Never know
what could we
what
save for future leagues? Yeah.
And then we came on to probably one of the biggest reveals and the biggest pieces of this league's echo bosses. Like, whoa, there was a lot there, a lot to read, a lot to take in. 9 new variations on well-known bosses, and each one coming with their own totally unique new drop. Let's just dig in because I'm gonna hand it to you, Arcane, because I don't even know where to start with these.
Yeah, so the reason we kind of wanted this was we really wanted to encourage people to pick different regions, and if we didn't actually do anything like the Trailblazer formula, probably people would have still picked like Zaya, Desert, Asgarnia. They were like really popular regions back then. So we need another way of like, okay, how can we actually encourage people to play other regions? And this was kind of the solution to it. Let's create some really cool new bosses, some new encounters, then also have some like really impactful rewards behind them. And you can also give regions things that they were kind of lacking. So like Desert didn't really have a good range weapon, so now it's got the Tricor Blowpipe, for example. So now if you did want to go ranged, it feels a bit more fulfilling to go Desert. And it adds a lot more different interactions there. But some of these bosses are quite interesting. It's been quite a nightmare to balance a lot of these, and I'm not saying we've done it perfectly either. Like, if you think about Smoke Devil, that boss has virtually zero mechanics. So, like, we had to basically design a boss fight from scratch to make that actually feel like something suitable. But then you look at something like Sol Heredet, he's already got so much going on. We couldn't really add too much more to him without making that fight absolutely obscene. So, some things are definitely more different than others. Personally, I really like Smoke Devil and Calfight Queen. I think they're some of the coolest fights, and very interested to see if players actually want those ported to the main game in some capacity, because they are quite underwhelming in the main game, obviously with rebalancings associated with the drop tables and whatever. But I am really interested in what people actually, how they find these fights.
Yeah, I'm a big fan of like the weapons as well, like some of the cool ideas we've got, such as like the Kopesh, like oh my god, that feels so good to use. Even like the weapon of, not the weapon of soul, the Sunlight Spear. Is really cool to use, and just can't wait to get my hands on it. It's honestly making me question my regions, because I'm like, I really want to go this, but I really want this Echo weapon. Yeah.
I'm exactly that person. I'm picking all my regions because I want to get every cool new weapon and just play about with them. Like, I know that I'm going to be able to demolish every boss easily, regardless of what weapon I use. And that's not me like, oh, I'm so good at the game. That's the DPS is so high in leagues, it kind of just doesn't really matter too much. So I really want to just play around with all the really cool new weapons.
Absolutely. I think a big shout out
being
to
called arrogant.
I think a big shout out to Art as well for like finding such an awesome color palette. Like, look at that Thermy model, like that looks insane. Like some of these is like, oh, I really want it to be a pet. Like, please.
Yeah,
But, yeah.
I would love a Cerberus one in the colors. Amazing. Yeah, we did see a lot of people like switching their original strategies right once we dropped these. That was very cool. Yeah, it's a lot. If you've not had the chance to sit and properly look at these, you can head to our reveals blog to sit and kind of have a look through them in a more detailed and untime limited way.
There's a lot to dig into.
Yeah, like especially if you're big on strategizing and planning out that route. It might change things. It might pick one of your regions for you. So should we move on to our next few reveals? So we then hit you with, well, 3 more for 4 to 6. I'm packaging these into one. We shared 4 relics, plus a look at boss uniques and components across these days. Do you want to just like talk through a little bit about these? Thoughts on them?
So this is Grimoire, the like boss uniques and components, and the teleport relic.
Yes, yeah, exactly.
Cool, yeah. So Grimoire is that one where everyone saw it and was instantly like, yeah, we got to pick this one. And I still think there's going to be a lot of people that are going to pick it, right? You want your rigor. It feels bad using Eagle Eye. It's a decent DPS boost if you want that prayer associated with a region that you don't want to pick. So it feels like a must pick for those people. I will probably reiterate again that you really don't need the DPS. If you want to min-max, fair play to you. But if you're picking this because you feel like you're not going to be able to do content without it, you're sorely mistaken. Like, you're going to be very comfortable regardless. It's quite nice for like things like Ancients. Like, if you don't want to pick Desert and you're going Mage, then it's really strong. Then getting Ancients for free is really powerful. I'd be surprised if many people want to do that many farm runs with 5 times speed. It's an option to you if you want to do that many farm runs, but Overgrown instead of Grimoire on that tier is a bit of a pick, but we'll talk a bit more about Overgrown later, I think.
Yeah, I'm honestly on the fence. I don't know, honestly, in that tier. I think all of them are pretty good. Like you say, I'm not too fussed on like the DPS increase, but I am leaning more towards Grimoire because I might not take Desert and I really want Ancients. That's like what you mentioned. But yeah, the other two are pretty good, especially Overgrown and the mysterious one yet to reveal.
The boss uniques is a good one as well, where, to summarize, it's like every item that required multiple regions to use now just kind of drops in one region. So Trident of the Swamp, before you would have needed Kandra and Thranwin, now you just need Thranwin, right? That's been rolled out virtually across the entire game, and that just kind of makes the whole area picking a lot nicer. Like, it does kind of remove a lot of, like, region combos, right? Like, before, you could have had these two regions and you really felt like you benefited from it. You don't really have that as much these days. There's still definitely some area synergies with each other, but it felt kind of frustrating, because what it ended up happening is that, say you wanted to go mage, you probably had to pick two regions, maybe you had one flexible pick. Now I feel like we're more in a place where you can kind of pick 3 different regions. Maybe you need to pick a raid region. Maybe you're forced to pick a raid region that all your friends are picking. But the other two, a lot more flexible these days. So I do think we've kind of managed to accomplish that, and I will be curious to see what players feel like after this. Like, did the area system really feel refreshed, or did we not really land that quite as well as we hoped?
Awesome. And then a little bit on teleport relics.
Yeah, you just pick Clue Compass, move on.
I thought you were a Fairies Flighter. Okay.
I think Fairies Flight's still very good, especially for farm runs, but I'm picking Overgrown, so who cares?
True. I quite like Bank Heist, but yeah, Clue Compass is just so good.
I really want to teleport to the Barrows chest, because you could, like, Total Recall, which we're going to go on to shortly, but Total Recall, like Darox, and then you use Clue Compass to teleport to the chest, and you just keep going back and forth. Like, there's stuff like that Clue Compass does that the other relics don't really do.
It's pretty cool.
Awesome. And then next came 2 big choices, Total Recall and Banker's Note. What's the thought there, putting those 2 up?
Yeah, so for context, from people who didn't play last league, this was Fire Sale versus Banker's Note previously, and that was a really tough choice. And I think the big choice came down to, do you want points now or do you want points later? Banker's Note was really good, like, long term, and affected a lot of the game. Well, Fire Sale just give you a massive boost of points immediately. And for people that are only playing like a week or two, that burst of points is infinitely more valuable, right? However, now it's not quite the similar choice. It's not like short term versus long term anymore. They're both quite long term relics. Personally, I'm still going to be going Total Recall, because I think it's just more fun to use. I want to teleport around with Darox in the wilderness. I want to find all those weird abuse cases, like I was talking at Barrows, things like that. Like, I think it's going to be some really fun use cases. I'm not going to be playing past like week 2, so I don't really care about the long-term benefits of getting 99 or 50 mil in all my gathering skills. Like, I just don't really care about that. But for the players that do that, it is really comfortable for that, right? Being able to note all of your resources everywhere is so handy. For PVM, I think Banker's Note is personally a little overstated. I don't think you really need 500 Chrome Bonds in any piece of content. I think it's a bit overkill. But if that's what you feel like you need, then all power to you.
Yes, I feel like personally attacked right there, because, you know, I'm not good at PVM. But I'm picking Banker's Note, so I just love the quality of life of it. Like, I want to be in a raid, make a molten glass, I'll make it into a stack, I'll note it, and then my golden god will alch it, and I'll just have like a constant flow. Yeah, super excited. Kind of biased, because I picked Banker's Note last time, had a blast, so I'll be doing the same.
You made it as well, yeah. So you're just picking your
I
baby.
suppose, yeah, picking my own stuff, yeah.
Yeah, I feel like I would go Banker's Note, although my temptation... So usually when I'm playing old school, I'm mostly skilling. I'm trying to max my account. But I'm kind of thinking of using leagues as a way to sort of practice and try some PVM and, like, try those bigger bosses and the things I wouldn't get to as quickly. So I don't know. Maybe I actually go down the route.
It's a really good opportunity to do so. Like, with all of the power and DPS and self-healing and Banker's Note for infinite supplies, like, it's kind of hard to fail unless you just get one shot. And we don't have that many mechanics that one-shot you.
Yeah, I think that might be my tactic, just to feel it out before I get to the main game. Okay, awesome. And then we've already kind of touched on it a few times. It has been mentioned. We're obviously very excited for it, but we have Overgrown next as our 8th reveal. do we want to go more into this, or is it
What else could we talk about this? No, I mean, I think it's really solid relic, but we'll talk more about the tier when we reveal the final relic in that tier, I think.
Yeah, no, that makes total sense. And like we said, we've already kind of hinted at it being a good one. Okay, and then came the next big drop. So obviously with this leagues we have a few new features that like set it apart from last year, and one of those is combat masteries, and that is what we dropped on the 9th reveal with the full breakdown of all of those masteries, all of those combat masteries. What are we thinking? This is another game changer, right?
Yeah, how much can we talk about this? Because like, there's a reason why it exists in the first place. I don't know if chat really wants us to go on a massive design discussion about like why we have these, but it seems like players quite like them. They're excited about them. I'm seeing a lot of people doing different combos of like 5-5, 6-4, 6-3-1, all that kind of jazz. So there's a lot more flexibility in there. I'm getting a lot of conflicting messages in chat. I think there's a lot of people who just don't want to listen to anything we say and just want the reveal.
Just want the reveal, yeah.
Maybe they can pause the stream. But yeah, I don't know. I really like the system. I think it was a really smart move pulling it out of Relics, like just separating like combat versus skilling for the most part. I think it was really good. Players seem really
100%.
excited by it. I'm very curious how it pans out in the end.
Yeah, shout out to Mod Rice for his work on this as well. Like he's been doing an amazing job at like balancing these and helping us think of them. So hopefully when you pick these, no matter what you pick, I think you're still going to have a lot of fun. So don't worry too much about like picking the optimal build or whatever.
I think one thing I'd like to divulge on a bit is something that some people have noticed is that there's quite a few changes that kind of make combat feel a lot more appealing very early. And that's something that's been really intentional, where like I played Trailblazer Reloaded alongside a bunch of other friends, and something I noticed amongst pretty much everyone is that you basically ignored combat until like tier 7. Maybe even tier 8 if you wanted your final combat relic. You had just ignored all of it and you just skilled and you just skilled and you just skilled. You did a little bit of combat to get just enough points to get your final tier, and then you start PVMing. And I felt that was quite frustrating. Like, there's so many tasks that you could do, but you wanted to defer till later on. So now, with like 2 times XP, tier 3 relics, so you can power level your combats really quickly, and the fact that you're going to be getting some of these combat buffs very early, like defeating a giant, defeating like 10 blue dragons, etc. You're going to be getting that power very, very early, and you're going to be able to feel that, and it's going to encourage you to actually do a lot more PVM early. And there has been obviously changes to the task list as well. Like, we no longer have like kill 200 Temporos or whatever, like a bunch of like really long KC tasks for like raids or whatever. Reasonable to get into now, so I'm hoping people appreciate that.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, again, you can see this infographic in full on the blog post. You can click in and have a closer look at it than you can maybe see on here. But we're going to move on to reveals 10 to 12. We saw a bunch of very nice quality of life updates that are coming with this league. Plus the tier 2 utility relics and relic passives. Do you want to whiz through these a little bit? Or?
Yeah, most of them are fairly self-explanatory, but the Mega Rare voucher one was the game changer for a lot of people, right? That feels like a weird like mini reveal of quality of life, but actually drastically changed virtually everyone's strategy, which is quite good. But to summarize, you can basically do any raid you want now and get whatever Mega Rare you want. So you can get Scythe from James' Eric. So you're most likely just going to pick the raid that you want to do, or the ones that all your friends want to do, which is really, really handy. The other things I think are quite impactful, the Tormented Demons, like being able to do them really early on, like not behind Wild Gothic Sleeps. That's actually a really big deal. Those weapons are really powerful really early. So being able to like get those, like Bone Claws is a spec weapon or something, I think we're going to see a lot of people rush those quite early on.
Yeah, I think what we've done with like passives as well this time, like you mentioned before, like people felt like they couldn't do PVM until later on last league. Like this time it's a lot sooner that you get the drop rate modifier, right? So that whole rebalance and reshifting, as well as like giving more combat XP, so like people don't feel like they have to go to Soul Wars or Pest Control like last league. It's a lot more like forgiving in that regard.
Yep. I think the Zora one was quite a funny one as well, where we were like, let's try and make Terranwyn a bit of a melee region. Like, if someone did want to do melee Terranwyn, like, what would that look like? And that's where we came up with the Crystal Blessing idea. But then it was like, Zora just can't be meleeed. So then you're not using your Crystal Blessing or any of that gear at the Gauntlet, because you can't take anything in. You can't use it at the one other boss in the region. Obviously, Zolcano you can't use it at. It just felt a bit wrong, so we did enable it, so you can theoretically melee Zora. You do need a high-range weapon, so Nature's Reprisal from Current or a Halberd. So maybe you'll just Crystal Halberd it to death, maybe you'll use a Dragon Halberd, maybe you'll get Nature's Reprisal, but at least it's an actual option now if you do want to do melee Terranwyn, which I think feels a lot better, because otherwise that would just feel a bit meh.
Yeah, absolutely. I think, and then just touching on the last bit is like pet metamorphs. It's always fun to bring over that from last league now. Super excited for people to have that cross progression, and they might not have the regions this time to get that transmog, so it's quite cool to bring that over.
Absolutely. And then we saw utility relics. We do have the images up on screen. I don't know if you want to mention anything on these. I think they're pretty straightforward and speak for themselves, but
yeah, the one that I had on these three relics, so Cornucopia, Dodgy Deals, and Friendly Forager, I feel like this has been the most divisive tier so far. Like, people like joked on the Banker's Note Total Recall. It's like, oh, this is the most hard tier, like, I want both of them, and obviously everyone does want both of them. But then, when it came out to, like, rough stats, a lot of people are going Banker's Note for obvious reasons. But this tier actually seems to be the most divisive. And even more so with the reloaded relic that we revealed recently. Like, even more, like, confusing of going, like, okay, I can pick both, but that means I'm sacrificing Golden God or something else. Like, it's even harder. So, like, these early 4 tiers have actually been quite a discussion point for the past few weeks.
Yeah, it's quite cool to, like, see that we obviously took some aspects of Trickster, right, for these. And just thinking about it, it's like, oh my god, Trickster was insane. Like, back in the day, Reloaded, right? And now we've split it out. Obviously changed some of the gimmicks for some of them. But yeah, keeping more players is good.
It's so funny that when we revealed Trickster last league, people said it was bad. They're like, what's this relic? Like, why would I pick this relic? Like, Production Master over Trickster over, like, Endless Harvest? It got memed on so hard. And then pretty much everyone ended up picking it. And people that didn't pick it were kind of like, god damn. All Mac thieving? Like, what competes with that? That's ridiculous. But it did actually get memed on. People didn't really evaluate its power very well immediately. But we have seen that a couple of times. It is hard to evaluate things in a game that's 20 years old with millions of intricate, like, connections. Like, it's hard to evaluate things at a glance. You do have to kind of delve into it.
Yeah, for sure. I'm a big fan of, like, the Forager relic as well. I think I'm personally leaning more towards that one, just for, like, the early herb lore and maybe some tasks as well. So we'll see.
awesome. And then we had our Relic Passives.
Yeah, there's not too much to say on this. The combat mod was the one we brought forward, so double combat XP at tier 3, like, that's going to be really noticeable. Like, you 16 times XP already, when you're probably like 30 attack or something. Like, you're going to be skyrocketing combat levels, especially your off-styles and stuff when you eventually do catch up. Also a note, I don't know if this is actually new information or not, but none of the Echo rewards have equip requirements. So there might be some worlds where you, like, equip a Dragor Blowpipe with 1 ranged and just skyrocket. Like, obviously you still got 1 range, so your damage is lower, but it's much better than a bronze knife. So that could be quite interesting. Fun little experience. The other one was the farming tick one, obviously, which is quite nice. It was kind of what we felt like with Slayer and Clues, where it felt miserable without a relic, and then passable with a relic, so we've tried to pull a bit of the power so everyone has it, so passive Slayer points and stackable Clues and now the farming ticks. So now we've still got a farming relic, but it doesn't feel as mandatory or miserable if you don't pick it. So see how that plays out, see if that feels good.
Yeah, it was definitely a big challenge for us to make something that could compete with Farmer's Fortune, because that was absolutely cracked last league. Yeah.
It really was. Completing your entire farming grind, 50 mil farming in 30 minutes. Pretty crazy. Good relic.
Alright, we're nearly there, guys. We know what you want. We're nearly there. We are on our 13th reveal, which was the combat relics. We've got Last Stand, Guardian, and Specialist. More big choices. What are you thinking?
This one's so hard because, like, especially if you're melee or you have a really good range special attack, it's really hard to turn down Specialist. Like, it's such a big deal. But Last Stand just looks so meme-worthy, right? Like, you just sit there staring at Zuck. You tank the 251 to your face. You just carry on staring him down, and then you blast him with 255 range. Like, it's hard to really compete with that feeling, right? It really just sells the thematics so strong. So I think this is going to be the clear winner from this, regardless of actual power or not. It's just going to be so fun.
Yeah, I can't wait to see like some interesting gameplay that this brings out with all sorts of gear, like Darox or something. Yeah, personally, I'm leaning more towards Guardian just because I like that chill. You know, I like my waifu. She treats me well. Helps me through the Inferno waves.
She's really good for nibblers. Like, she just KOs all the nibblers every time.
Yeah. So yeah, I'm picking that.
Awesome. And then that brings us to our final one, which is yesterday. And this one was also a game changer. I was like big shock face when I saw this one. We have reloaded. So basically choose another relic from any tier below this one. We did also get to see how those first 4 tiers sit, with this one being on the 4th tier. Let us know in chat what you're going to be picking with that one, actually. Like, I'm curious. But yeah, guys, like, what are we thinking?
I love relics like this. They're just like a couple of words that don't really sell much, but they mean so much, right? Like, the implication is huge. Like, Fire Sale did that, where it's like, yeah, you could just buy everything for free, and then it was just like, oh god, how does that work? What does that change? And seeing everyone's strategies just crumble when we revealed this. But yeah, it's a cool effect that I think has been suggested quite a few times. Of just like, oh, what about if you could choose a prior relic? And it's hard to do that in a balanced way, but I'd like to think we've kind of accomplished this, where it's a meaningful choice over the other ones.
Yeah, for sure. I think if anyone was curious, or I think Husky mentioned in the Discord that like the icon looks like the tools, because at one time this could only let you repick from tier 1, but we discussed it and changed it to make it so you could pick any tier below that one, which we felt was a more interesting choice and at the end of the day a bit more difficult one. So yeah, happy where we landed with that one.
Awesome. Do you two know what you pick with this? Or if you would go for this one, maybe you would.
I'm still going gold and god. I want a lot of gold. I want 3 magic levels. I want to be able to just get my 70 odd. I'm skyrocketing their first couple of days. I don't care about the long-term investment.
I think if I was to pick it, I'd probably go dodgy deals into Forager's Pouch, friendly Forager, sorry. But yeah.
Nice. Well, it is a hard decision to make, and we do still have a bit of a mystery slot there, right? So we have now covered all of the reveals that you've seen so far. I think it might be time we take a peek at our final reveal.
We end in the stream right now?
Yeah,
it's over.
Yeah, done. Bye.
Yeah, bye.
Let's take a look at that final reveal. Yep. Yep. 8 whole tiers. A bunch of new relics to go through. Oh my god.
That's right. You can make pies with Production
Hell
Master.
yeah.
It is confirmed here on stream. Production Master has been buffed.
And pizzas. Oh my god.
And
Game changer.
Jesus.
Yeah, there were some huge reveals in there. We are going to go through them. Don't worry. This is obviously a first look at these. Yeah, eight tiers, guys. 8 tiers. Let's just jump straight into them. Let's chat about Equilibrium first.
This is the most Marmite relic we've ever released, even internally. I'm the only one internally that fights this relic. I think it's cool. I think it's got really good value. It's a weird one because like certain skilling methods are amazing with it. Other ones is borderline useless. So like you kind of have to know what skilling methods you're going to do ahead of time to actually make the most use case of this. And if you do, it is really strong. But it is competing with Golden God, which is a lot of immediate value, a lot of really obvious value. It is competing with a Reloaded, so it could obviously be Friendly Forager or Dodgy Deals. So it's not exciting, it's not going to sell you on anything, but if you want to get a lot of XP and a lot of different skills, and you want to do some really quirky trading methods, this can definitely be a solid pick. We've pulled this forward a lot. I think it used to be tier 6, so now it's tier 4. So you get this a lot earlier than you would have.
Yeah, I think a little addition we've done for this Equilibrium is you can actually see how much XP it's giving you per skill and total XP as well. So there's a bit more of a visual, indication of, okay, it's giving me this much percentage of my XP in my grind to dragon or whatever it may be.
That's always been a bit of a complaint with Equilibrium, where you pick it and you're like, yeah, this is going to give me a lot of XP, but you don't actually know how much XP it's giving you. You don't actually understand its value. So maybe we'll pick this relic and we'll get to the end of a maxed account and we'll still realize it's awful. But until then, it might still be good. There's a big cope here.
Awesome. Sorry, I'm going to just talk about chat. Is the community manager not able to come to the office today? Guys, I live a really long way away from the office. So, no. Awesome. Okay. Sorry, do we want to chat about the next one?
Yeah.
Sure thing.
So next up we have Pocket Kingdom.
Yeah. This is a really cool relic. So this is Pocket Kingdom versus Overgrown versus Grimoire. So again, if you really care about those combat perks, Grimoire is still going to be really up there, right? It's not really going to change much for you. But if you were going to pick Friendly Forager for herbs, but you still wanted to get a bunch of other resources, Pocket Kingdom could be another one. This gives a ridiculous amount of resources. I know it. So Pocket Kingdom or Managing Miscellany right now works once a day. We've sped that up to once an hour, so that's 24 times faster. They give you twice as many resources, so that's 48 times faster. They cost half as much, and they're always at max appeal, so it gets rid of all that stuff. This is a lot of resources. This is a ridiculous amount of resources. You're virtually getting 2 months of resources in one day. Whether you care about those resources or not is up to your build and what you're doing with it, right? Getting 400,000 coal, maybe not that useful to you, but the other resources might actually just convince you away. Maybe this replaces Friendly Forage in a way that you're more interested with. You can get a lot of Ranor weeds from this, or a lot of seeds. A lot of maple logs, a lot of teak logs, etc., etc. So maybe load up the Managing Miscellany wiki page right now and see if the resources are of interest, because it will give you a lot of them.
I feel like this is my kind of relic. I'm that player that goes around picking up the drops that are worth basically nothing because I just like to hard items. So I'm gonna get all of the resources. So then we've also seen our tier 5 relics now. So we're gonna just spin us through those relics on screen. But as pointed out in chat, the blog I believe has now been updated, so you can also hop in there if you want to go and take a closer look at these. Let's go through them, shall we?
Yeah, so this was kind of a bait and switch, right? Where we didn't really hint at this relic existing at all. This wasn't really a strong thing where we were trying to allude to only 7 tiers, but we did realize towards the end, Yeah, we haven't actually given any indication that this 8th tier exists, so let's just carry on with that. So here is the 8th tier, tier 5. So yeah, we got the typical Slayer Master Relic. This is an interesting spin that, like, you are the Slayer Master. Like, you pick what you want to do. Like, you don't need tasks. You just go there and kill it, and you'll get XP for it. So it's a bit of an interesting spin there. Instead of having to just pick your tasks manually, you can just kill whatever you want, whenever you want, for as long as you want, right? As long as a bunch of other benefits of just making Slayer generally more lucrative. So this is quite good. Those chunks of XP as well, where it says like 1 to 15k, I think, XP. That's before multipliers as well. So if it was 10k XP and then times 16, you're getting a big chunk of XP there just for completing, like, effectively a Slayer task, right? 100 of a certain creature, and you could reap all of those just by killing a bunch of different creatures. So that will power level you so hard doing Slayer. I think if you just killed like 100 cave crawlers or something, you're probably already going to be like 50, 60 Slayer or something stupid.
Yeah, it's kind of nuts. I think even like the synergy between Clue Compass and Treasure Arbiter is going to be insane as well. Like the whole current step, and you won't need any items, and that's just, you're going to do so many clues with that. But yeah, reiterating that Slayer Master is so cool.
I really like the spin on the Treasure Arbiter one this league, where it gets rid of all the equip requirements for like emote steps and things like that, because they're kind of tedious in a sense that, like, it still had area requirements because of the items to some extent, but also it might mean that this one random clue has like a 90 requirement on something arbitrary, right? Or you had to go kill some random thing a trillion times, or you have to have done a bunch of clues to do all these future clues. So it really does mean that as soon as you can pick this relic, you can effectively do every single clue you can get almost. So like you can really smash through them. I will give a tidbit ahead of time that there isn't as many points behind clues as there has been in prior leagues. That has been pulled back slightly. So obviously the task list when it is released and see if you do want to commit to this, because historically there has been an insane amount of points behind clues, and everyone that didn't pick this relic felt like they had to. So it's still going to be good, still going to be a lot of points. This relic is still going to power level you through all of those tasks, but there's nowhere like near the magnitude behind as it has been historically.
Yeah, I think I've said to you before, Arcane is like, this tier is probably my favorite tier just because of how difficult it's going to be to choose the relic. Like, honestly, the Slayer one is really good, but like Production Master just speeds up so much. I'm like, oh.
That's the thing. Production Master is one of the most satisfying relics to use, right? It's so good. But it's hard to really evaluate if you need it. Like, can you get away without it if you're going Power Mine or an Animal Wrangler with Reloaded? Like, maybe you're fine with that, but that's a big commitment to dedicate yourself like that. Like, maybe you do want to just have the ability to blast through all your resources with Production Master. Also got synergy with Pocket Kingdom. If you go Production Master plus Pocket Kingdom, you got those 500k maple logs you're going to burn through. Like, it sorts a lot of resources out for you immediately. So, there's a lot of synergies there.
Yeah, tricky pick. I have no idea. I want to say it. Slayer is not one of my favorite skills to train. So I don't know. I don't know how I would land on that in leagues. I don't know, but maybe I would take it so then I don't have to do it as much.
Yeah, or you could skip it entirely and just go Production Master, or if you like clues, go clues.
Yeah, it's a difficult one. And leaving it to last as well. People who have planned their whole journey and then we're showing them their new tier 5. It's alright, you've got like 2 days to think about it.
Plenty of time.
It's lots of time, it's fine. So we can now take a look at our completed reveals roadmap, just since we have hit all of those, all of our reveals now. Fully up to date. We are fully ready for Wednesday. Again, I've said it a billion times, but you can head to the blog. I think it was !Leaks5 was the link to that blog. Again, if you want to look at any of these more in depth. But yeah, so how are we feeling? Literally, it's a few days away. All of this work, time spent on it. What are we thinking in general, away from just the reveals?
It's been such a roller coaster, and it was last year as well. Like, as soon as that teaser season starts, like it feels like you're not really working on just Jira job after Jira job after Jira job anymore. Like you are working on like a live game again, and you're getting loads of feedback, and people are getting excited. People start strategizing, then I start strategizing, and I'm getting involved in it all and just reading the league's Discord like 3 times a day. Like it's hard to not really get caught up in that sort of like enthusiasm. It's really contagious. So I don't know. I'm so excited to just play the league. Like I'm done with deving now. Dev Arcane's over. I want to just play the league now, and even though I'll have to fix a bunch of stuff on launch most likely, but all I want to do is play. I want to log in.
Yeah, it's mad to think that like most people would probably assume that like we're working all day every day. We're sick of the league now. We don't want to play it. But the fact that we're raring to go, we can't wait to get in ourselves, certainly tells us something. Yeah, I just know on Wednesday we'll be there. Putting out any fires we need to, waiting to play that evening, and I think it's just going to be an awesome release. I think everyone's going to have a blast. Yeah.
Yeah, if everyone could collectively not break anything for the first like hour, so then I can unlock Karambwans, set up Karambwans, and then I can AFK whilst I fix all the problems, that would be ideal. So if you can all just figure that out amongst yourselves, I'd appreciate that.
We do have lots of requests about the task list. Do you know when we might be seeing that?
The full thing will drop on the Wednesday, so whilst servers are down and stuff, I imagine you'll have time to look through it all. So right now it's just Mistlin, Kramja, etc. But we'll be unlocking, obviously, all of it ASAP. The wiki will be doing a big dump of information.
Yeah, so still some mystery on the lead up, but, some time to start planning. I only can plan, like, your start of your journey, right?
Yeah, that's why we want to do like Mistlin Kramja, so then you know what you're doing for the first few hours. Then you can unlock an AFK activity, and whilst you're AFK, you can figure out the rest of your plan. It's kind of how we imagine most people will play.
Awesome. Okay, so we actually haven't seen a lot of questions in the chat today, which is totally fair. It's just been like, oh my god, about reveals. So, yeah, I've only got 2 here. But I've got, does the always on task Slayer Master bonus apply to Echo bosses?
Yeah, you can have a task benefit on Echo bosses. So Mauritania for your Slayer helmet, get it imbued at Soul Wars or Nightmare Zone for those Kandarin pickers. And then you will effectively just have the Slayer helmet buff on virtually every boss in the game that could have a Slayer task. So that's a pretty big buff for Mori and Slayer Master Relic.
Awesome. And similarly on the Slayer Master, does it apply to your first Inferno KC or only beyond the first?
It would apply to your first Inferno KC, yeah. I didn't even think about that. It literally works like, can you get the task? Is it feasibly possible? It does exist in the code? Okay, you're on task for it. It doesn't try and respect like quest checks or anything like that. Presumably, if the quest check's stopping you from attacking the monster, not killing it. So, yeah, if you don't have Priest in Peril, you're obviously not killing something in Mauritania. But if you can attack it and you can kill it, it will treat it like you're on task. You will get superiors, you will get XP, you will get any like on-task drop rates. We did make sure that doesn't brick all of the combat achievements that say kill something off task. That was a last-minute panic. Yeah. Just a solid relic.
Yeah.
Awesome. Echo bosses, do they have any loot improvements to regular loot? E.g. Echo... Oh, why did I decide to try and read this? Echo Hunlef?
Yeah.
I'm going to try and read the other one. Or only Echo Uniques?
It doesn't have any buff to the regular loot tables. However, some of them effectively have higher kills per hour. So Sol Herodot from the Colosseum and Hunlef, and debatably Hespori as well, basically skip the prep, so to speak. So for Gauntlet and Colosseum early waves or whatever. And obviously growing Hespori. You don't need to grow Echo Hespori. You also don't need to get tasks for any of the task-related Echo creatures. So if you've got your Echo Orb for Cerberus, you can now just kill Echo Cerberus off task. Like, you don't need to get another task or anything. So you can just smash that over and over again, which might be a soft increase for drop rates. But yeah, you're not going to be getting better Dragon Dart tips or anything from an Echo Boss.
Yeah, and we'll in game we've actually got drop rates for all the orbs and the weapons, so don't worry about that.
Yeah, they're all on the area interface. Halo's done a really good job of making that have as much information as you should realistically need.
Nice. Will Echo Bosses that drop multiple uniques feature any dupe protection?
They're rolled separately. So you can kill Echo KBD and get both the Kopesh and the shield in one kill. Noteworthy.
Okay, cool. I feel like I'm just sort of jumping around these questions. I'm so sorry, people behind the scenes are trying to keep up with like what's going on the question box at the bottom. Does Slayer Master allow you to spawn superiors or obtain Brimstone keys from NPCs while not on task?
Yeah, because you're always on task. If you've got a Slayer Master relic, you're effectively always on task.
There you go. Easy
You
answer.
are the Slayer Master. There you go.
Yeah, you are the Slayer Master.
And does Pocket Kingdom charge its maintenance cost once an hour or still only once a day?
Once an hour, however, it is 50% cheaper. So you will want a bit of gold upkeep, but it is a tier 7 relic. I'm imagining most people will have a gold online by then, especially if you've got things like Dodgy Deals or Golden God or any other relic that promotes a generation of GP.
Awesome. Cool. Well, that's all I'm seeing in here. Yeah, I don't know. 2 days.
Will harder hard modes be returning? Yes, they're still in the game. The drop rates have been reduced from TOB and TOA, so they're less generous now. However, that's been counterbalanced by the fact that if everyone gets a purple, so that's a pretty big distinction. Like previously, yeah, you might be getting purples every raid, but if you're 1 out of 5 members in the group, it's still a 20% chance that you would get the purple, right? Now it's reduced overall, so the chance of the group getting the purple is lower. But if anyone gets it, everyone gets it. So this is to kind of just promote group play again, because there was no real reason to do group play like TOB and TOA. Obviously TOB you might be forced to because of competence. But for TOA, then there was no reason to do group play. So that's kind of why we made those changes. Chambers is still the same as before.
Awesome. All right. Is there anything that you feel like we've not covered and that you want to mention in this chat ahead of Wednesday?
No, I could just keep talking though. No, I can just keep going.
I mean,
so something quite exciting that I think last league didn't have, but this league does have. If you're going Chambers of Xeric, I think we've introduced that feature now where you can raise the amount of people that are in it, like simulated, so you can raise the scale. Like you didn't need a bunch of accounts anymore. That's really cool from a league's point of view, because you could just go like 1+20. And with the DPS that you've got, you're probably going to be able to do it. So for any of those that are really trying to push those like weird endgame challenges and like min-max their build to the absolute brim, that sounds like a really fun like endgame gameplay loop of just trying to push that like plus X as high as possible. So for any of those that maybe haven't done Chambers of Xeric since that feature's been released, quite a cool tidbit.
Nice. I was going to give a big shout out to our resident League's liaison, Mod Husky, for helping us out with this league, as well as Hootie, and of course Mod Rice, who's been like instrumental in developing this league with myself and Mod Arcane. Yeah, it wouldn't be in a state that it is now without them. So yeah, big love to them.
Yeah, huge.
Shouts
like,
out
go on.
I was going to say I'd shout out the QA as well, but I don't know their mod names and I don't box them. But the QA on the project did a great job as well. I mean, I guess we'll see on Wednesday, but I think they've been doing a great job.
They have.
Yeah, no, huge team effort, like across the board. Like from my perspective, I'm also going to say thank you to Mod Yume, who has valiantly been sorting out all of our leagues blogs and making sure we've got the right one for the right days. And me, Modume, and Mod Hootie have all been like on our weekends sat together in our group chats, making sure you get those reveals every single day, even on weekends. So yeah, it's been a massive joint effort, big task, but we're there now. The finish line is in sight. I'll say that, but I'm sure, like you say, we're still going to be working away on it. Yeah, I think we're gonna end that today. I am going to give you some of those announcements, but stay tuned because we do have one. We do have one very important one to drop. So first of all, you can do !Leagues 5. That's going to bring you back to that blog post. Oh, look, I'm just going to point this out. The type with the November to 26th, this is with what I'm about to do, the promo one. That's when you're able to purchase it. So if you use !promo in the chat, you will see the promotional Leagues membership package that we have for new and returning players. It's available to purchase between November 26th and December 3rd, and then you're unable to purchase it again because it's set up to be those 57 days discounted rate, so you can play Leagues without that time commitment or worrying about it, running out or having to refresh during Leagues. But it is only available up until the 3rd, so not a typo, just specific. You can also do !Discord, which will send you to our Discord server. We will be running various Leagues activities, including some events put on by our incredible volunteer moderation team. We're also going to be setting up a leaderboard in there for Discord users, so go and see how you fare against fellow Discord users. However, we mentioned this at the top of the stream, and just a few moments ago, we dropped a new video on our YouTube channel featuring one of the greatest League players' solo mission. Go and check it out for a handy guide full of interesting tips and tricks to get the most out of your League's experience. You can use !YouTube. That link will send you straight there. We are just going to leave you today on that to go and watch that video. But thank you so much for being here and watching. Thank you for being so lovely on my first stream. It's been an absolute delight. And thank you to Mod Arcane and Mod Halo for chatting to us today. Okay. Bye. Enjoy the video.
See ya.
See ya.